Brittany Vasseur is a lifestyle YouTuber with over 1.5 million subscribers and 190 million video views. Now, Brittany has been on the platform for 7 years and has seen pretty much everything. And in this interview, we really focus on a mental health struggle that she experienced last year that was truly the rock bottom of her career. We also discuss what it means to be the primary breadwinner in your household and how that affected her emotionally and psychologically. Hello, my name is Erika Vieira. I'm a YouTube strategist and coach, having helped thousands of women behind the scenes through my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp, my one-on-one YouTube coaching, and my strategic channel management. Now, on this channel, I interview well-known female content creators like Brittany, where we together pull back the curtain to reveal what it's truly like to be successful on YouTube. So if that sounds like of interest to you and you are new to this show, then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I come out with new interviews every single week and other incredible content having to do with being a content creator. Enjoy this interview. Mwah. Well, hello, Brittany. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. So one thing that I know that you've shared a little bit on your YouTube channel recently is some of your kind of mental health struggles. But I really want to dive into that here and talk about that as it relates to, your YouTube channel. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. So this is something that I wasn't sure if I wanted to share or not. It was something I was keeping very personal. I had a lot of embarrassment over it and shame. And then when I decided to kind of come out and share my story, I'm so glad that I did, because I feel like a lot of people, whether you're a content creator or just anybody, deals with these things. And by talking about it and sharing it, it just helps people feel less alone. Mm-hmm. So basically, my journey with this is I've always been kind of a type A perfectionist my entire life, like to a fault. I'm a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. I'm always just putting a lot of pressure and stress on myself. And in the content creation space, that can be magnified, because a lot of what you do, you can see is based on numbers and people liking you. And over time, that really starts to build. And I think what really set it over the edge is when my husband, we decided for him to leave his full-time, stable career to work with me, because we are launching, we have one business, we're launching another one. I needed help. I was falling apart. I needed help with the kids. I needed help with these businesses, and I didn't trust anyone else to do it. So that was a very difficult decision.
And right now we're May of 2022. When was this decision when your husband left his full-time job?
It was March of 2021. Okay.
Got it. And what was he doing before?
He was working at Sempra Energy Company as a portfolio manager. He was pretty high up.
Oh, it's like a serious career.
Doing very well. And that's a lifelong job. I mean, you stay in that career for life, and that's what he had always planned on doing. But in the back of his mind, he wanted more for himself. He wanted to be an entrepreneur. He started getting into that mindset. So this is such an amazing opportunity that he can really build a company from scratch. And that's what he's been working on. And he does that, all day long. He runs the businesses. Obviously we do that together, but he's in charge of that.
Wow.
So when he left his job, that's when I really started feeling the pressure. I'm supporting this family on my YouTube career, and what if I fail? And I always thought of myself on the brink of failure. Any given day, I thought I was a month away from everything crumbling down. And if I posted a video and it didn't do well, oh my gosh, my YouTube career is over. This is all going to go away. We're not going to be able to pay for our home. I just would spiral into the most negative thought patterns. And it got to a point where I realized I was not enjoying making content. I wasn't even enjoying my life, because I was so stressed all the time. I just thought that I was on the brink of failure is the best way to describe it. And I started at one point having panic attacks every morning at 4 a.m. I would wake up, my YouTube channel is going to fail. Everything's going to, it was getting so bad. And sometimes in life, you really have to hit rock bottom, and you have to have things really bad for you to pay attention to it. So that was when I first started speaking to a therapist. and like going through my thought patterns, I think she could tell that I was a good candidate for, possibly getting on prescription medication, which I was really, like, to be totally candid with you, I was kind of against prescription medication. I don't want to say, I just felt like in my mind that was failing. Like I couldn't solve my own problems, and I should be able to figure it out on my own. I had like researched anxiety, but nothing had ever worked for me. And so within like a week or two of taking medication, my entire life changed. And so that tells me that it really was some kind of a chemical imbalance in my brain. Like I did not have the serotonin I needed. And I kind of have been like that most of my life. And now I have a completely different lens, a completely different perspective. I'm actually proud of myself. I don't think that I'm a failure at all. I'm like, I've accomplished so much and I'm doing great and I'm doing the best that I can. And I just have a new perspective on life, on content creation. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I feel so lucky. So instead of having that like lens of, oh, I'm so afraid everything's going to fall and fail, I have a lens of like, I'm just so grateful and so lucky that I'm able to do what I do, and I have the platform that I do, and people are still watching and enjoying my content. So I've completely flipped my perspective. And yeah, I'm so much happier now, and I'm so glad that I got the help that I needed. So anyone who's watching this, just talking to a therapist. I'm not advocating like medication or not, like talking to a professional who can guide you through it really was the decision that changed everything for me.
Wow, that's crazy. And the thing is, it's so interesting because people think like, how many subscribers did you have at this point when your husband quit his job and you kind of started feeling this anxiety?
I would say like 1.3 million probably.
Yeah. So look at you. It's like 1.3 million people would, be like, oh my God, she's made it, right? Like that's it. And I always say it's like there's struggles at like every part of the journey, because at this point it's like it's interesting because you're like, it's not just you anymore. Well, not that just you. It's not just like, okay, now I'm contributing to the family. It's like, no, I am I'm the breadwinner, like I'm employing my husband now. Like we have little babies here. Like the pressure of that.
Yeah, I was falling apart.
Huge.
I could not handle it. I was falling apart.
Wow. And so when you got help from the therapist, how long, like once you started taking medication, was it an instantaneous where like, oh my God, my world is different, or did it take some time?
It was within 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Crazy. Because I would have these like negative thoughts that would spiral and I could not get them to stop. I was like being haunted by these spiraling, obsessive, negative thoughts that nothing I could do would make it stop. And within 3 days, so I would have like a thought, right? Like, oh, your YouTube channel is failing. And then it would go away. Like instead of that consuming me, I could like have the thought and then be like, no, that's ridiculous. Like that's not true. And it would go away. And I'm like, what? Wow. What is happening? That's never in my life have I been able to do that.
Wow.
So in my case, I do truly feel like there was a chemical imbalance. And
sounds like
by addressing that, it has given me I feel like a new chance at life because I'm enjoying my life. Like I love every day. I wake up so grateful. My marriage is better. I'm a better mom. Like everything in my life has improved. Wow. So now I'm like at the best place I've ever
that's
been.
Great. That's amazing. And so did you continue on with the therapy, or at this point it's like it wasn't really needed?
So the crazy thing is I did try to continue, and I don't even want to be like annoying by saying this, but I felt like I had nothing really.
No, it was all good.
To talk to her about. I'm just so like, and I'm sure things will happen and I will be tested, and I'm just in that like grace period right now. It's only been like 5 months. And I have her on speed dial. Like she knows if I ever need her, she's available. But I just haven't felt the need to even continue talking to her.
Wow. And so I'm assuming you probably had these feelings prior to when your husband quit, but when that happened, like you said, it was almost not like a rock bottom because it's like a blessing, right? It's like, wow, he gets to work with you. But then it's like you were probably dealing with this problem the entire time while you're growing your YouTube channel, I would imagine.
Oh, yes. And the one thing that's interesting dealing with content creators at different levels, I always had this thing in my mind is once I got to this level, then I'll be happy. once I get to this level, then I'll feel relaxed and happy. But what you don't realize is the more traction, the more success you get, the more pressure builds up and you have to maintain it, right? When you're growing, there's no like, it's all upside, you know, you have nothing to lose really. You're just trying to go. But when now I feel like I've built this, I've worked so hard and I'm so proud of it, there's like that pride and that level of like, I can't lose it now. And things are always changing. You know, the longer you're on YouTube, the harder it is to like maintain what you have and your numbers and all of that. So the pressure actually gets more so. Like there's never a point where, oh, I've made it and I can relax. It actually, like, sorry, like spoiler alert, it just gets more intense. So that's why it's so important that you address and deal with your mental health so that you can be prepared with, you know, as success comes, there's bigger problems, there's bigger stresses that come your way, and you have to really be on top of handling that. Otherwise, you'll fall apart like I almost did.
Yeah, can you imagine? Because if you didn't get the help you needed, which is getting a therapist, and you've spent all these years building something so massive, and to have it all crumble, like, you know.
And I do believe, and part of what was like driving that is I do believe that on YouTube, they say, oh, you can take breaks. I don't believe that because I know other creators that have taken breaks and their channel has never recovered. And so that like pressure is like, I can't even take a break, even if I need one. I have to post a video. And even like when I had both of my kids, I didn't even take one day maternity leave, yet alone a week or 2 weeks. I kept posting like instantly. I never missed a week. The only time I ever missed a week, I've only ever missed like 3 weeks in my 8 years on YouTube. That's how much pressure. And in some ways that was good because I do believe that to be true. Maybe I don't want to test it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of people who stop being consistent, they take breaks and things never recover. So I always had that like on my mind, like you have to keep posting no matter what. So I did stick to that and I still do. But my first piece of advice to anyone listening who's a content creator, create a schedule that is really, really manageable for you. Like some people get on the train of like daily uploads or 3 times a week. For me, I came to a point where for my mental health, I can do 1 video a week. And I would rather do quality over quantity. That's the amount that I can produce and feel really proud of what I'm doing, put my heart into it, like come up with good new information, have time with my kids. Like I now take the weekends off. I never took weekends off. Like this is only within 5 months I've been taking weekends off. I have a social life now. I'm spending more time with my, family and friends. I never took weekends off because I was like, for a while I was doing 2 videos a week.
Okay.
And that was when I realized I'm like, nope, this schedule, I was doing a lot better financially, but at what cost?
And what cost?
So this year is when I was like, no, like for my life balance, for my happiness, 1 video a week, I'm going to do like, that's what I can commit to. And I'm going to be consistent, but be very conscious of like, what is that level you can produce while maintaining your balance in life and the other things that are important to you.
It's so important. So I do want to touch on you and your schedule. And, I know you talk so much about on your channel, like productivity and all these different things. For you, do you have anybody other than your husband it sounds like he's managing the business side of things. Do you have anybody on your team that's helping you with the YouTube content, like an editor or, thumbnail maker or anything like that?
No, even I've done my YouTube channel completely independently from day one. I have thought a few times about outsourcing different elements, but for me, like what I do on YouTube is so much like a part of me. I don't want to lose any of that. Like I feel like having an editor, it might lose my touch. I put in like little fun parts and humor. And I
love the little vignettes you put in with your husband. I think that's so cute. It's really cute. It's smart. It's really smart too because it's entertaining and it keeps people like guessing, what's going to happen next.
Yeah, like I try to add just a little elements of fun and personality and keep things interesting. And I just, in my mind, and maybe this is something I need to get out of in my own head, but in my mind, by me doing all parts of it, it stays true to myself and my vision, and it keeps it it keeps the integrity of the content there. Like if somebody else wrote my videos and they came up with the tips, or they did the post-production for me, I just don't know if it would be me, like fully me anymore. Again, I might change my mind on this, and I know other people do that, and their content is still great and authentic, and it really helps them out. So this is just something I still debate with for myself. But the other fact is I enjoy doing it. I do. Like, I like the editing process. Yeah. To me, that's like where everything comes together. Yeah. And that's like fun for me. I love researching new video ideas. I love all the aspects of it. I love what I do. So at this point, at the schedule that I'm on now, 1 video a week, it's manageable for me to do everything myself.
When did you switch from the 2 to the 1?
This year, so 2022. So last year, when my husband left his job, I kind of had that mentality of like, I need to do the most.
Go.
I'm gonna take I took on so much more. I think I was doing like 2 or 3 brand deals a month, and on Instagram I was doing like 4 to 6 a month. Like, wow. I was doing 2 videos a week because I just felt like I need to make this happen for my family. Like, I don't want to fail. I need to do every opportunity and like do the most. And I was working 7 days a week, 2 videos a week, plus on Instagram every day, like really trying to put out quality Instagram content. And yeah, it was when I had like my breakdown. That was around, January, February. I got COVID. That just started it. A really bad case of COVID.
Oh no.
And then that started the low point. And then right after that, I had the breakdown. So January, February. And I was like, no, like, why have all of this if I'm not happy? Why? Like, it's for nothing. So since reorienting my life and my schedule, like, I cannot recommend it more. Like, put yourself first. You have to put yourself first, and your family and other things that are important. You can't lose that, because then, in my opinion, it loses its value to me. So I'm very happy with the decisions that I made, even though getting there was not easy. Yeah.
And I want to know, since you do everything yourself, I would love to know but maybe you're going to say, oh, it's different all the time, or maybe not. But what does like a typical week look like when it comes to producing your content? Like, how do you fit that in with the kids and, everything else in your life?
That's a great question. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, but I do have a pretty set schedule. Okay. So now I post my videos on Thursdays. So I have like a set day that I aim for. But if I don't make Thursday, then I'll post on Friday. Like, I don't have this insane amount of pressure like how I used to. But Thursday is what I shoot for my posting day. So Monday, today is kind of like the day I'll be finishing researching, outlining everything. I make a very detailed outline of what I'm going to film, all the things that I need. And then Tuesday is when I film the talking portion of my video. So where I'm, get all ready, talk to the camera, I edit it that night. And then I make a list based on, what I said, everything that I need to film. So then I have like my little filming outline. And then Wednesday is when I film all of the B-roll shots. And I do like to have as much B-roll as possible. So like, as I'm talking, things come up on the screen. Yeah. No one wants to sit there and listen to me talk for that long. So I try to have a lot of visuals in there. So that's Wednesday. And then usually, because I'm tired from doing that, from filming all the B-roll shots, that's like the hardest day of the week.
Wednesdays.
Usually in all of my videos, I have between 15 to 25 tips. So every single one of those has to be filmed. It takes a long time. And then on Thursday morning, I usually wake up at like 6 a.m. and then do all the rest of it. So I have to edit in all the B-roll clips, do the music, I do the thumbnail. That takes me the longest. That usually takes me 1 to 2 hours for that. And then I'm usually like just hitting 12 o'clock. I like finish it all in post, which now hearing the schedule, you would think, oh, why don't you start on Monday and give yourself more time? One thing people might be surprised to know about me, I don't do things early. Like, I do things last minute. That's what like, I'm a procrastinator, through and through in that sense. Like, I need that deadline. I need that pressure. And as much as I try to start early, I never do. So I'm just going to be honest with myself. And that's what works for me. So yeah, Thursday morning is like my crunch time. getting it all ready. And then Friday is when I start thinking about, okay, what's my next week's video going to be? I start the planning on Friday, and then I finish it on Monday. And now, like I mentioned, I take the weekends off.
Good for you.
That's very big for me, and it's been amazing because I come up with some of my best ideas. Actually, the video I'm working on for this week, this is one really kind of out there. I've never seen anyone do this video. I'm a little bit nervous about it. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I'm coming up with a backup idea.
Okay.
But I came up with this video concept over the weekend of basically showing I'm going to call it the truth about my life and show like the reality, because I think people have this perception of me being like, oh, I'm this organization and cleaning channel and I always have my life together and everything's perfect. I want to show like the messes in my house and show the things that I struggle with and show, you know, how I balance everything with the kids, or more likely how I don't, like how all of the things that I kind of struggle with, just to help break that social media facade. I think sometimes you go on Instagram and you see these people with these perfect lives and it makes you feel bad about yourself. And so kind of the message of the video is like, you know, we all struggle and fooled by what you see on social media, and just like being really real about a lot of things. So I have like, here's my document, my whole list of things. But again, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that one. I might end up doing something else. But it has like how I get it all done / I don't really get it all done.
Yeah, the truth
right now. Like, there's always some kind of disaster happening. Like, how do I take care of my kids and balance it all? I don't like. I really struggle, and sometimes my kids drive me crazy. So anyway, that's in the works.
It's so relatable. I'm like, I'll watch that. Like, I love that idea, because like I struggle with the same thing, being a mom that has a business and like, you know, and with the kids, and it's. I think a lot of us, especially those of us that, you know, all of us moms, I think struggle, you know, and I think it is extremely relatable. So I say do it.
But. We'll see. Stay tuned. I'll let you know if that one makes it or not. I'm nervous.
Yeah, I get it, because it's different than your regular content. So where does your Instagram fit into that? Because it's a nice schedule for your YouTube, but I know you have a thriving like Instagram account.
So Instagram, the way that I've been doing things lately is that my YouTube channel stays pretty like how-to content, evergreen content. Like my big thing, my main goal of being a content creator is I want to add value to your life. Like I want you at the end of this video to have learned something that you can use to make your life better in some way. So I really focus on like value add content. And then I'm like, where does my personal content come in? Because I like to, you know, share some of my life and connect with people. I feel like you can't really connect with people unless they know you a little bit better. And so I've been kind of putting more of my personal content on Instagram stories. I don't really post on my main feed very often, but my Instagram stories, like my people there, I call them like my virtual besties. Like I feel like they know me the best. I have so many relationships and conversations there on my DMs. So I just kind of post my day-to-day life on my stories. I don't really use Instagram for like business as much. I stopped doing like brand deals on Instagram for the most part.
Okay.
Something like I have one going up today, but that's like as part of a YouTube one that I did.
Brand deal, yeah.
So I'm just posting like 2 follow-up stories. I don't really I want to keep my Instagram personal, but now I've actually heard that Instagram's going to be phasing out stories.
Yes, so I heard that. I'm like, that's the only thing on Instagram when I'm on there. That's the only thing I even look at are other people's stories.
Same. I love stories.
Me too.
Not just like from myself as a content creator, but like watching others.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Me too.
So they're trying to turn Instagram into TikTok allegedly. So now I'm trying to figure out where do I fit in that more personal content. Should I start doing weekly vlogs? But then that kind of affects my channel. You know, it's harder to get views on like vlog content.
Yeah, it really
kind of muddles up my channel. So things are always changing, and you have to just adapt.
Roll with the punches.
Like slowly adapt. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Instagram, I kind of just do for fun on the side. Like I didn't post it. I don't usually post on Sundays. If I don't post, like there's no pressure. It's just
so it's just like whenever you get to. It's not like with YouTube, it's very strict. So going back to like your schedule, where how many hours would you say do you spend on one video? And like, do you have a set time? Like you always try and be done by a certain period time, or, you know, like what happens? Like, I'm assuming like your husband's maybe helping like with the kids, like all that, like how does that all play into it?
So the longest part of my process is the research and coming up with new ideas, because I've been doing this for 8 years. And I've covered a lot. Like I've organized every corner of my home. Like I've shared so many tips. Like I always have to keep coming up with like new ideas, new information. So I'm like, my number one skill of anything is actually research. I have a research background. I was like a research assistant for many years. So that takes me the longest. So like almost all day Friday and Monday, I'm out here like trying to find good ideas, making my outlines. And one thing I think that I'm really good at is finding information that's like wow factor. Like I've never heard that before, because I've seen so much. I have like a good eye for like, that's really interesting. Yeah. That's really new and cool. So that takes the longest, the researching. And so what I do, how it works with my husband, is we kind of tag team. So usually like in the mornings I'm working, and then in the afternoons I will like go out with the kids. So like I'll have half a day at a time, or some days if I need more time, he'll take them out in the afternoon, just depending. So I work most of like my sitting down time is researching on Fridays and Mondays. And then Tuesdays when I film myself, that takes about 3 or 4 hours, like from getting ready to fully editing. And then I edit that portion that night. So probably 4 hours. And then when I film all the B-roll clips, that takes a long time. That takes the longest, almost all day. So Ryan will usually have the kids all day for that. My son is in preschool, so
yeah, so the half schedule, yeah.
Yes, and then Thursday I'm up like 5, 6 in the morning until my video goes up at noon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so then usually when my video goes up, that's like I'll take the afternoon to like run errands, or like go out with the kid, you know, like relax, because that's like, okay, we did it. We finished our video for the week. And then Friday and Mondays, like I consider those like
research
days. A little easier in the sense that I'm just at my computer. I can take other meetings. That's when, like, for example, it's a Monday. I have a, my husband is taking this call, but with like my business meetings and other things going on, I'll like be at my computer. But I will say that the thing that I'm worst at is emails, because I get, and that's what stresses me out the most. Like if there's one thing that really stresses me still is the amount of emails that I get probably over 100 a day. And I'm just so bad at getting back. I like, I'm not organized with that. I forget. I feel terrible. So if anyone, I've not emailed you back, I'm sorry. That's like
well, thanks for emailing me back. I appreciate that.
I know, well, thanks to Shay.
I know. That's, our mutual friend Shay. Yeah.
In my inbox. So that's the one thing. It's just because so many, a lot of it is from like, because I share a lot of Amazon stuff, and I'm like big on Amazon. So a lot of Amazon sellers email me. That's probably like 70 of those emails every day. And I don't work with any of them ever. So I need to find a way to make it stop.
Or just hire someone to manage your inbox. You could totally do that.
I know. But then I feel like I'm the one who knows like
all the details.
I don't know. And I also, another thing I'm doing differently now is I'm only doing one brand deal a month. That was like another thing that was driving me nuts. Because every time you have a brand deal, I mean, there's deadlines, there's revisions, there's drafts,
conversations with them, and
like that,
back and forth.
And when I was doing like 2-3 a month, my head was spinning. Like it was a lot to manage. Plus I was doing them on Instagram. So now I just do one. Like I just did one, my one for the month last week, and it's so much easier to manage. And then I also feel like I also have a thing. I don't like to oversell to my audience. Like I'm very conscious of that. Like my reason for being a YouTuber is to connect and add value. I'm not like trying to be a salesperson. Like I'm very cognizant of that. So I'm even more selective about the things that I promote. Like my new rule this year is I talk about things that I already use and like purchase myself. Like the hair care products I just talked about last week. You see them back there. That's all I've used for 2.5 years. Like it's so easy for me to talk about. So now all the brands I'm working with moving forward are things that I like currently to this day use, purchase myself. So it just makes it a lot easier to like decide what am I going to do. And interestingly enough, I had an email last Friday, and it was like for a lot of money. Okay, so like I normally get paid a certain amount. It was more than double, and it was for something related to cryptocurrency. And like instantly, I saw that, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's not your niche. Yeah,
I'm not like guiding my decisions of what brand deals I take based on who's paying me the most. It's like, what is easiest for me to talk about, because
it shows that's so short-sighted, because you've built this audience for years and years and years. Why would you screw it up for some extra money? You know, it just
exactly. And that's like what I value the most, is the trust that I've built with my audience. And I get this message all the time, like that I give the best recommendations, because I'm very picky, and I only talk about things that I would recommend to my mom, because my mom, fun fact, she watches everything I do, and she buys like most whatever I talk about, she'll buy it. So I don't want to let down my mom. Like when you walk into her house, it's like she uses this hair care product. Like whatever I talk about, she'll buy it. I can't let down my own mom.
So that's a good guiding force in your head. You're like, okay, you know, my mom's gonna buy this. Like, is it worth it? You know?
Yes. But my mom called me up and say, I love this too. And one thing I realized recently is like one of my big purposes is I love spreading joy. So like if I love something, I love like sharing that and talking about it, because I get really excited about it, whether it's like a good tip, a product, a new idea, whatever it is. Like I just love sharing the things that I really love and excite me. And that's kind of like what drives me and moves me forward. And it's so fun. I mean, how cool is that I get to do that?
Yeah, it is cool. Awesome. Well, Brittany, we're nearing the end of the interview, and this is where I ask everybody the same questions. And these are just kind of like rapid fire questions. All right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. So what is your number one struggle with YouTube?
Managing emails. Like I feel really behind always. Like there's all these things I need to be answering that I'm not. Also figuring out what my next video topic is going to be.
Yeah. What is your favorite video that you've done on your YouTube channel, or like video you're most proud of?
So two come to mind. One is the video where I went into my mom's hoarder room, because my mom grew up very, very poor with like nothing. And so now in her adult age, she kind of hoards stuff. And I think it comes from like not having a lot growing up, and specifically makeup. Like she loves makeup, skincare, beauty related things. So she has this room, we call her hoarder room. And I went in there and I completely redid it, organized it, made it beautiful. And she was just so happy that it meant so much to me that I can do that for my mom. So that's like my most special video. It took like a month to do that. That's my most special video. And then the one that I'm most proud of that I've done like recently, because that was a couple of years ago, is the one I posted. It was how to turn your bedroom into a 5-star luxury hotel. And if you haven't seen my videos, like that's the one I would kind of start with, because it really, I think, illustrates my current style, which is, you know, humor, fun, value add information, and like the ideas and products I shared in that video are some of my all-time favorite ever. And I've gotten so many messages. Nothing makes me happier, truly, than when people message me. I get a lot of messages on my DMs like, this was like life-changing, like thank you so much, I love what you said, I'm doing this tip and it's improved my life. So that video, I got so many of those messages after, so that's partially why it's so special.
Yeah.
So those are that come to mind.
Oh, I love that. What is, and we kind of touched on this earlier, but what is your number one tip for preserving your mental health as a content creator?
Yes. Number one is create a schedule that allows you to maintain that balance in your life. Don't feel like you have to post 3 times a week. It's better, my opinion, I would rather do one video that I'm really proud of and could put more time into, quality over quantity. Okay. So whatever that schedule is that works for you, that allows you to maintain your balance in life and your sanity, do that. But then stick to it, because consistency cannot be overstated. Okay. Be consistent with whatever schedule that works for you. Be consistent.
Yeah, totally. Have you ever we kind of touched on this earlier, have you ever just wanted to give up? What happened there, and how did you get back on track?
Early on when I was starting, definitely, just because nothing was happening. Like nothing happened to my channel really for like 2 years. and I was working on it. I can't even tell you why I kept going, because I wasn't making money from it. I didn't even necessarily believe that I was going to make it. It was almost like this thing, once I commit to something, like I'm committed. Like I'm one of the most committed people you will ever meet, like once I decide. And so it was almost like a personal challenge to myself. And I enjoyed doing it. And I think whatever it is you do in life, you on some level have to really enjoy doing it, because that will keep you consistent. You're never going to stick with something if you don't, like, at the end of the day, love it. And it's funny because growing up, I used to always make videos. I would do magic videos and like fashion show and like funny videos. So somewhere, like, even as a child, I always loved like creating and making videos. And it's funny how it evolved, and now that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is what kept me going, even though nothing happened. I mean, if you are out there and you're working on your channel and nothing is happening, like, keep going. Because there's, read the book, The Power of Habit. It talks about the curve. Okay, this is how it looks. Nothing, nothing, nothing. You want to quit. And then it's like exponential. But it happens later than you think. So you can't like lose faith, and you can't doubt yourself.
Yes, I love that. Any video you created on your channel that you were really excited about, but it just like bombed?
So this is an interesting one. And this is why I wrote this in my notes. And whenever I tell other YouTubers this, they're like, what? But I don't check my views. I haven't checked my views in a long time. And part of that was like when I was really struggling with my mental health, because I would like beat myself up if like a video I was really excited about didn't do well. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. My channel will never recover. But sometimes I will look like months later, because with my channel and my videos, a lot of times they pick up later. So like initially it might not do well, but it picks up in the algorithm, because I really try to make videos that are evergreen, that they're relevant in 5 years, in 10 years, in 1 year. So I don't try to judge, but recently, this is why I don't look at my views. Right before Christmas, I posted a video. It was called like Everyday Things You're Doing Wrong, which I had done one similar to that, and it did really well. So it was kind of like part 2. And I was like, this is gonna do amazing. The first one did well, and this one was even better. Like I had even better tips. So I posted it, and it was a few days before Christmas, maybe 4 days before Christmas, and it bombed. I only saw it by accident, because remember, I don't go out of my way like to look at my views. Somehow it like, I went on YouTube and I was signed into the wrong account, so it like popped up. Bomb, like for what I view as bombing. Everyone has their own lens of that, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I like freaked out. Remember, this is before medication too.
Okay.
I spiraled. I like tried to change the
thumbnail,
the
title.
How come it's not doing well? And so it not only did it like ruin my day, but it even like through Christmas. I mean, this is right before Christmas. I'm like moping and depressed. My
ruined your holidays.
Well. I'm not doing well. Like it's my baby, right? So it like ruined my Christmas. Then like a few months later, Ryan is like, hey, you know that video that bombed? It has 700,000 views now, which for me is like phenomenal. I'm like, this is why I don't look at views, because you don't know what I look at. And the only thing that I look at to like gauge my YouTube channel health, my comments, that means more to me than anything. My audience, like they will tell me what they're loving, what they're not, if they're getting something from it. That's first. I always read my comments to this day, and I try to reply to as many as I can. And secondly, my overall ad revenue.
Yeah, you want to look at that.
Yes, if that starts to go down, then I'm like, okay, my channel's in trouble. But it's been like, it's been consistent for years, and then certain months it goes like way up, like around the holidays or whatever. But if it like dips below a certain level, that's when I'll be like, okay,
what's going on?
Because that's like the big picture. That is telling me we're still on track. We're still doing well.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy for me to hear, because because I work with YouTubers and I run channels, and like that's all I do is like look at the numbers and look at the analytics, and I'm like studying and analyzing. But I get it, because a lot of times with the creators that I work with, they don't want to have to do it. So I'm in there doing it, so I'm like, I love.
Maybe I'll hire you to do it for me. Just give me a report.
I love the numbers. I do like a weekly report.
I've, like, made decisions like back in the day when I used to be like obsessed with the algorithm or whatever. It always ended up like, I don't know I just have this thing, like, for me is authentic creativity and like doing what feel like. I go a lot by feel.
Yes. Instinct. Instinct.
Okay, and you don't have to be like me, but that's just like how I work best. So if you work best, like looking at the numbers and diving in deep, that's probably the smarter way to do it.
Well, but actually, like, here's the thing, because I understand, because, you know, I'm not the one creating the content for these channels, right? So I'm working with the creator, and I realize so much in working with them, like, that information is important and it's valuable because it helps you make decisions in the future. But at the same time, if you're there's a fine line, because if you're too obsessed, it's actually hugely crippling. Yeah. And I say that to creators too. It's like, you know, I look at the numbers so much that I can see things, but like at the same time, it's like, don't look at that ranking thing on YouTube. Is like probably one of the worst things for like a creator's mental health, right? I get so many of my clients message me, I'm number 8, it's number 9. It's like, okay, let's, whoosh, you know, let's have let's take a breather.
When I open up my creator studio, this is how I open it. I block it.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, I look at that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know if I'm happy, if I'm proud, like, and this is what I'm teaching my 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
All that you can do is your absolute best. And however it is received, whatever, that's all you can do. Like, if I'm proud of it, if I feel like I did my best, then that's it. Like, sometimes it's going to do well. And sometimes it's factors you can't even control. It's like the algorithm that day, or like the thumbnail, or you get lucky.
Yeah.
And sometimes like my best videos that I feel are my best don't perform. And some that I'm like, really don't think are going to do well, completely explode.
Yeah.
So it goes anyway. And as long as I feel good about it.
Yeah. Because as creators, you have to feel good. You have to have your mental health in check. You have to, in order to be the best version of yourself on camera and create the best content. So if you know that the analytics, like for you, if that's a trigger for you, it's gonna be a snowball effect where like a month from now, you're putting out content because you're just too consumed with it.
And you're trying to do content for the wrong reasons because you think it's going to do well versus like what you feel. Like, you have to obviously consider what people are going to want to see. You don't want to, like, I'm really into like reading right now. I'm not going to do a video on like reading because okay, no one's going to watch that. Yeah. But like amongst the topics that I know is like in my wheelhouse and my audience, like I need to pick what feels good and authentic to me and not that because I'm like panicking and I want something that's going to get good views. Yeah. Because that's what I also very strongly believe that your audience can tell your authenticity and that comes through. Like, people are not dumb. They can tell if you are being real and genuine and if you're not. And the people who are not, eventually over time, that comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. I fully agree with that. I think I think that in of itself is a really important conversation too. It's like you could go on and on about that. It's like, you know, that fine line between the analytics, using them to help you, but don't allowing it to hurt you and cripple you. So I think it's something that a lot of creators struggle with, and you found your solution, which I think it's great. You know, it's obviously working for you.
I'm like a little bit out there in that case, but what I would say like a good compromise is, if you post a video, like at the very least, wait a week before looking.
Yeah.
Don't look at it after an hour or a day because it can take a minute for the video to like pick up. Don't look at it right away. And there's another YouTuber I'm friends with. I won't say who it is, but she always like DMs me. She's like, are your videos views down? Because my video really bombed. And I'm like, girl, just like relax, check it in a week. So now she's doing that. And she's like, thank you for that advice. Because I now don't freak out when my videos go up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then last question is, what is your superpower that you think has led to your success?
I would say maybe 2 things. My ability to make useful content fun and entertaining. I think if you can do both of those things, you can make it. Because if you're adding value to people's life, they'll keep coming back. And if you're doing it in a way that keeps them entertained, they'll keep watching. And not like a lot of times the channel is like really entertaining and fun, but you're not like getting anything from it. Yeah. Sometimes it's like really informational, but it's boring. And like, that's not going to motivate people to come back. So if you can do both and tap into that is a recipe, I believe, for success. And then the second would be consistency, because I'm consistent. If nothing else, I'm consistent. Yeah. And that's like what got me to this point is I just kept going. I never stopped, even when I was making no money, no one was watching my videos. I just kept doing it because I love doing it. So whatever it is you're doing, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, whatever you're creating, make sure that at your very core, it's something that you are passionate about and you love, and that will keep you going.
Love that. Well, Brittany, thank you so, so much. This was such an amazing, just hour jam-packed full of information. I know anybody that listens to this and watches this will get so much out of it. For anybody that's not familiar with your content, where can they find you?
So on YouTube, my channel name is Brittany Vasseur, Vasseur. And then on YouTube, I'm Vasseur Beauty. And that's where I post like my daily life stories, my kids, mom hacks. I post a lot of like mom tips and tricks over on my Instagram.
Love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to be back on.
Yes, for sure. I would love that. Bye, Brittany.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview and you learned a lot from it. Now, if you have a YouTube channel or considering starting a YouTube channel that you're serious about growing and you want the best of the best when it comes to personalized feedback, advice, and up-to-the-minute YouTube strategy, then consider my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp for women. I have been running this bootcamp since 2018, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of very successful students that have gone through the program. And I can go on and on about the YouTube Bootcamp, but I want you to hear it directly from some of the women themselves.
I feel so lucky that I got to do Erika's bootcamp.
Before I joined the bootcamp,
before joining Erika's bootcamp,
my channel was all over the place. I didn't know what I was talking about.
I would hear people say that I need to find my why and my voice and my audience and understand my target audience, but I never felt like I really understood what that meant.
Erika helped me come up with YouTube video ideas. She helped me with consistency. She helped me to interpret my analytics.
I started with 12,000 subscribers and now I have over 50,000 and it is growing rapidly.
My channel has grown almost 100,000 subscribers.
I definitely wouldn't have gotten to this place in such a short amount of time without Erika's bootcamp.
What makes Erika special is that she has been talking to and analyzing YouTube channels for years, and that has given her this bank of knowledge to pull from.
I'm constantly asking her questions about YouTube. I'm asking her advice about my YouTube channel.
Taking the Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp was one of the best
decision I could have ever made for myself, for my channel, for my own personal growth as a human being. I could not be happier.
I love that it has reinvigorated me in such a beautiful way. So I am so happy that I've joined.
You're crazy not to hire her. Get on it. All right.